Hello and welcome to my Magic the Gathering Online League wrap-up. So this is going to be a league that I've already played, and I'm just going to review the games that I've already played, give some commentary on some of the decisions I make, some of the different interactions that come up. I've been playing a lot of green decks, mono green, stompy, mono green, hardened scale, splashing for different colors. Been playing splashing for some black, getting some Thoughtseize, and overall it just hasn't been doing well against the really popular dominating decks like Inverter of Truth, Breach, and it struggles with Delirium as well. So decided to try one of the other decks that I've also been struggling against, Mono White. I'm actually going to try playing the deck that's giving me a hard time to beat. So Mono White revolves a lot around this Heliod Sun Crowns, being able to put a counter on a creature whenever you gain life, and give a creature lifelink, as well as Walking Ballista, which you can remove a counter to deal a point of damage. So a Walking Ballista that has 2 counters on it, plus Heliod, you can deal infinite damage and gain infinite life. With Heliod, Walking Ballista, and Daxos allows you to actually get it as early as turn 4. If you go turn 2 Daxos, turn 3 Heliod, Walking Ballista you can play on 2 counters, gain your life, put your counter on Ballista, give it lifelink, and that gets your 2 counters. You play for 2 mana, and you get 1 counter. And then turn 2 Anafenza, similarly, you play that turn Anafenza, turn 2, Heliod turn 3, turn 4, Walking Ballista for 2 mana, 1 counter, Anafenza trigger, you get your second counter, you give a lifelink combo. Also, the other way to get turn 4 is Grange. You play Heliod turn 3, Walking Ballista turn 4, play your Grange, you put your counter on Walking Ballista, you still have 2 mana left, you give your Walking Ballista lifelink, and then you proceed to infinite damage. Owls help us get our missing combo pieces, as we're looking for an enchantment Heliod and an artifact Walking Ballista. It can help us get the one that we don't have, as well as it can also give us 4 piffs for our Heliod. So this is a pretty stock list that I found online that did well in a Pioneer qualifier. Did make one slight change to the sideboard. It called for 3 Rest in Peace. I replaced one of the Rest in Peace with a Sky Sovereign. I think this will help against some walkers, and I don't know the graveyards that big of a matchup to where I need 3 Rest in Peace. I think 2 is fine, especially with the note of Baffling Ends, Stasis Snares, and other removal that just exiles their creatures anyway. Also, Elspeth Conquers Death exiles a permanent as well, so that's it. So let's start with the first game of the match. Alright, so start off our first game. Win the die roll, we get to be on the play. Okay, starting hand here, nothing really towards our combo, but it has a solid just aggro plan to it, so it's worth keeping. Fabled Passage, don't quite know what they're on yet. Going to start with Anafenza. Don't think we're going to get this Knight to trigger, but we'll still hold off on it. Try to just get this Anafenza out first so we can get to triggers. Let's see. Blue-green, still not quite sure what exactly version of blue-green they're playing. Just play the Daxos, put that counter, get that 3 damage. Okay, so they're playing some kind of blue-green ramp. And unexpected results. Alright, so that's what it's playing. And there's a turn 3 Emrakul. It's going to be pretty tough here. They are taking our turn, so yeah, they try to mess us up as much as they can. They even mess up how I speak. And it's going to be tough to beat a 13-13. We still do have ways to get rid of it though, so we're not exactly lost yet. Just play out what we can. 13 puts us at 10. Alright, they get some more mana. They keep Daxos tapped down, doesn't actually do anything, and consecutive land drops. Yeah, attack in here, but we're still dead to a 13-13 Trampler. Make a token, gain 1 life, puts us at 11, still not enough to beat a 13-13. So they get game 1. We'll move on to game 2. On to game 2. Sideboarding. Not much of a change to the sideboard. I just took out 1 Gideon and put in 1 Damping Sphere to try to take care of their mana that adds for extra, as well as making them have to pay the extra, so they can't just pay 4 mana for the unexpected results. They actually gotta pay the extra 1 mana tax, which could slow them down enough. So that's the only change after sideboard. See how it does. On the play, Knight's not actually that great, but it's still a pretty solid aggro hand, so we'll keep it. Maybe the ramp and let us Knight actually get to use its ability. Alright, Grazier's a pretty good way to start the ramp. This Knight might actually get to search a land, so let's get this Anapens out. Also, if we draw the Heliod here, we just have the turn 4 combo, which no turn 4 combo. We get this Knight out, and we get the land because they ramped up with that Grazier, which then allows us to now. So a pretty good turn 3 here. Knight into the Walking Ballista. This again just allows us, if we draw the Heliod, to be able to combo. And then I should have done that post-combat, but they still blocked anyway, so it worked out in our favor. But I should have played the Walking Ballista post-combat swung, hope they blocked, played the Ballista, and finished it off. It worked out the same, but it gave them an opportunity to block knowing what my trick was. They get the unexpected results for an Hour of Promise. Get an extra 2 lands out there. Okay. Get the Daxos. Now we just get tons of mana here. A lot of devotion. Or 6 mana. Enough we play out this Gideon. Not enough that we get that extra count on Ballista though. Just tack out. Playing the aggro plan here. Finish off the Grazier. Just have to hope that this unexpected results doesn't go well. And there's an Emrakul, so it's pretty good for them. Going so just sacrifice this Ballista before they get a chance to do anything with it. Shoot them for 1. Stasis Snare is a really good draw here, especially because it's an opponent controls, so you can't actually play it to kill my own to target one of my creatures, which means I'm going to get to deal with this Emrakul. he doesn't really get to do a whole lot with the turn, just swing in with my Daxos. Get the Thraven Inspector for that extra devotion. And then Stasis Snare. Or draw my card first, see if I get anything better than Stasis Snare. Nothing really to do with this mana, just activate Gideon into a creature and attack in. Alright, there are two. They need something pretty good, and they don't have it, so we get game 2. Alright, on to game 3 of the first match. We did make some changes to the sideboard, ended up putting in the Gideon's Intervention, hoping to name off the unexpected results. Decided to cut the Damping Sphere. It's actually potentially going to hurt me as much or more than it's going to hurt them. And Gideon doesn't do a whole lot against what their strategy is, so cut two of the 3 Gideons. So we're on the draw. Knight on the draw is not bad. We have the Stasis Snare for their Emrakul. And we got half the combo, so it's not a bad starter. They got the Grazier, which is just going to help this Knight even more. We could actually just play Knight on turn 2 and get the extra land. And there's a Heliod. So now we have the entire combo. They are continuing to ramp more. They are ramping a lot. We'll get to use this Knight, catch up on that ramp some. Going to just playing out these planes in case I do get the land that gets to put a counter on something. I'll be able to have it come in and play untapped and get the counter. Alright, they got their 4 mana for unexpected results, and Coast is not that scary. It does go back to their hands, so they will get to do it next turn, but now we have the Grunge, the Walking Ballista, and the Heliod, so unless they get something really powerful here, we'll just get to combo on our turn 5. And they get another Coast, so we dodge that. They could still have some interaction with their 2 mana up, but we're just going to go for it. There's more interaction that they're going to get if I give them another turn than what they could have here instant speed. Alright, so far no reaction, Grunge, and they scoop. So we get the first match against blue and green unexpected results ramp. Going into game 2 now of the league. We lose the die roll. This has everything for the combo. Not exactly fast, but we do have all the pieces. And now we don't have all the pieces because turn 1 Thoughtseize gets to eat our hands of, well, probably one of the best cards in the hand. Definitely made our hand a lot worse. Main phase ops there. Just, I guess, digging for something. Their hand must not be that great. Or they just really needed that lands. Alright, they got the Jace. We could just Stasis Snare this here, but with only 1 mana up, I want to just get this Gideon out so I can make that emblem, which is going to make it difficult for Inverter to combo and win. Alright. Yep, they get to mill themselves too, allowing them to flip Jace. Now I gotta find a way to deal with both Jaces. Stasis Snare only hits creatures. I'm 1 mana away from this Elspeth Conquers Death. I do get to make Gideon a creature and attack 1 the Jace is down. I can Elspeth Conquers Death the Wielder, but this has a convert mana cost of 2, so I can't actually hit it with Conquer's Death. So I hit down that Jace with Gideon, and they have the Thoughtseize to get rid of the Elspeth. So they want that answer for Jace. There's the Oracle. You can stack the top of the library, or the top card of it. Alright, I get to play Anafenza here. Turn on Heliod. I'm going to get the Stasis there, get rid of the Oracle. I'm doing this before combat so that they do something to deal with Anafenza. It doesn't take Heliod out of combat. Because I still have Devotion even with Anafenza gone. And then with the extra mana, I go ahead and just give this Gideon lifelink to be able to put a counter on something with the Heliod trigger. Not that I care too much about the gaining the life, I just want to get the counter. So send Heliod at Jace, Gideon at the other Jace. Alright, the Prodigy die. I get the counter. I put it on the Planeswalker. It's going to be one of their harder things for them to kill, and they got to push for the Anafenza. They use a Chase, draw some more cards, mill themselves some more. And they do have the Downfall, which is unfortunate. Oracle, draw some more cards, or manipulate the top of the deck some more. Getting some heavy metal lands. Dig through time, they get to shorten the graveyard a little. Find 2 cards that they need. Go and just make a 1/1 token. Still more lands. Go and just make the token. Play out the Nixos so I can have the mana to pump the token. Or give it lifelink. So I'll swing here, just being able to give it lifelink and pump the other token. 2/2 is going to be much better than a 1/1. So I will trade my 1/1 to make a 2/2. Another dig, shrinking the graveyard even more, and finding a lot of cards, or looking through a lot of cards. Another dig, giving them no cards left in the graveyard. 4th lands for the inverter, and then the library becomes the dig. They already have the Jace out, they just plus mill their dig, draw their card, and win the game. So they got game 1. Going now to game 2 of match 2. Sideboarding in Gideon's Intervention. Trying to name off some of their combo pieces. There was reason to side in Rest in Peace, but it's a tough call. It does hurt some of the things like Dig and their Jace to be able. They can't flip their Jace if Rest in Peace is out, but it also enables their winning on 1 turn by just Inverter followed by Oracle. So it's a tough decision to put in it, not the Rest in Peace. Taking out Stasis Snare, they don't have a whole lot of targets for it. And that's about it for the sideboard options there. So we're on the play. Kind of not great hands. It is pretty Thoughtseize proof, not a redundancy, and the Inspector is your 1-drop into your 2-drop. We actually draw the Anafenza, which is much better than the 2-drop. Sets us to where we could potentially get to turn 4 combo if we draw right and they don't have disruption. So most likely not going to happen. And there's a disruption, taking care of that Heliod. Okay, there's just going to the aggro plan. Probably should have put the counter on the Thopter rather than the Anafenza. Anafenza is already a pretty good target for the push, so just writing out that counter would have been probably the better play. There's a Thoughtseize to get one of our 2 birds. Drew the land, which allows us to play. That's the bird. And then response a push. So that we don't get the counter, and just proves more that we should have put the counter on the Inspector. Only choice here is another owl, so we'll use an owl to get an owl. And then we'll swing in for 3. Get him down to 8. There's the chase. Another owl, so no more owls left in the deck. Attack in. Easy block for them there. Okay, block the flying anyway. Only reason to attack there would be fear the walking ballista. But they're at low enough life anyway, they gotta take that risk to block. There was argument to maybe sack the clue there, but to just be more efficient with the mana, just want to play this all out. Try to get that walking ballista, which we did. Now we just gotta try to get it with enough counters to deal that last piece of damage. They get to flip the chase. And there's the Languish. And to bring back Thoughtseize, getting to hit that walking ballista from our hands. Alright, now we just need a walking ballista off the top. Go ahead and start with the Knight, give us that mana. Since they have more lands than us, we'll get so this is something I realized in the post game, but this is actually a Plains. I could have got another Grunge from the deck with the Knight and had a 3/3 Knight. When they're at 1 life though, it's not really going to matter anyway. Sack the clue for another lands, not exactly what we needed. They get to minus the Knight, but had I got the Grunge, that Knight would have actually been a 1/3 now. Could have actually been lethal, but they have the inverter anyway, so they would have had the blocker. Now we play at the owl and hope to try to find the walking ballista. And 3 lands and a Gideon, so we don't get anything with that. Play at the Daxos, just try and go wide. He has 1 blocker, plus the Jace, and he's at 1 life. So he has to have his piece of removal here, or the other Jace to just be able to mill himself and win. Or I guess the other Jace plus, yeah, he needed to take 1 more card deeper because he had 3 cards left, and he did not get there. So he can push 1 thing, yeah, but he can't deal with all 3 creatures. He can only block 1, push 1, and still take the other one. So barely by 1 card too many in his graveyard. And had we sided in the Rest in Peace and drawn that game, he might have just been able to win there. So yeah, that actually worked out that well that we didn't have the Rest in Peace because he had 1 too many cards in graveyard. But on to game 3 now. On to game 3 against Inverter of Truth. So didn't make any more changes to sideboard. Just kept it the same way. Not a great hand. In fact, not even worth keeping. So mulliganing that down. It's still not a great hand. It does have the Gideon, which is pretty good in this matchup. 2 Owls in the opener is not great, again. But put 1 of them back, and it's still a pretty slow hand here. Knight, it's not too bad if we're not going to get the mana from it. Spectre's not quite what we want to draw here. We would have liked that on turn 1. Okay, they crack the Jace at sorcery speed. Hoping for their spell to play, I guess, and then they end up getting the Thought Eraser, getting that Gideon, one of the main reasons to keeping the hands out. I played the lands that I drew over the castle just so I can have those 3 planes open in case I do draw the Grunge. I want that option. And that little bit of more information that it gives by playing the card I draw is not that great over having the option of playing the Grunge and putting a counter. Speaking of which, I got the Grunge, but nothing to actually put a counter on, so still play out the castle. Play the Owl, which triggers animates the Heliod, and I get another Heliod. Not exactly what I was looking for. Get to attack Jace down to 1, so you can't minus it. Pluses up on the Heliod before killing the Owl. And another plane, so this time play with Inspector. Stack the clue right away, see if there's anything worth, and another land, so just play that in the Inspector. Next turn I can play the other Grange and actually have a power to attack even through the -2 of the Jace. And he has a dig. Ashiok, not great here. Now he's got blockers. A third Heliod, definitely not one we want to be drawing here. Not really worth it to swing. And yeah, this not looking great for us. They're just Planeswalker controlling, making nightmares, blockers. And we're drawing lands and Heliods. I did forget to make a token at the end of the turn there. I could have had one more token. They're still at 17. I don't think that would have made much, but it still was a mistake. And yeah, they're get to dig from the graveyard, exiling the graveyard, so they have no cards left in the library. There's the Inverter, and they already have the Jace out. They have no cards in the library. But they did already use the Jace. Then, so they can't do that to draw a card. I'm going to make the token, and once I tap out, they go and opt me in case I had some kind of response with mono white. But anyway, so lost game 2. On to game 3. Game 3 of the league. We lost the die roll, so we'll be on the play, or draw, I mean. If we draw lands here, we just have the combo. Planes. So it doesn't exactly tell us what they're playing, and that does. So we are playing the mirror. We're going to follow up their turn 2 with our turn 2 Walking Ballista. could potentially have the turn 4 combo here if we draw well. And there's a Banishing Light, so we no longer have the option. I'd rather have that in our graveyard than on the Banishing Light. If we get rid of the Banishing Light, Walking Ballista just comes back and dies anyway, so just shoot them for 1, take the 2. Go and play it to Heliod. We could play it to Gideon, but Heliod, next turn we get to play the Owl, and it opens to where we could combo them if we draw the Grange. They get the Owl themselves, and they get a Walking Ballista with the Owl. Alright, so we need to top deck Grange here. No, Elspeth Conquers Death. Not bad. So we know where they have the Walking Ballista in their hand, and they're going to get to do it for. They're going to get to play it with 4 counters, which means they'll get to play any creature that we play here. Go and play the Owl anyway, and 3 lands and a Gideon. Get this attacking for 5. Okay, White Knight just for, or Knight of the White Orchard just for the 2 piffs, and then they get 9 mana. They get to play a really big Walking Ballista and shoot down our Owl, making our Heliod no longer a creature, and attacking in for 5. That's a pretty fast clock. Another Owl, we get to do it again. Play the Owl. Activate the Heliod. Find the Stasis Snare. Swing. And they have a lot of mana to spend on putting counters on Walking Ballista. They get to put 3 counters on Walking Ballista. Allows it to kill the Owl. And not quite lethal. Pretty close to it. There will be lethal once they untap because they can list us. So we have a few different options. If we play the Gideon, we can prevent the damage from the Ballista, and then play the Thopter, but we still die to the 5 in the air. We can play the Gideon, prevent the 3 in the air, but then they can just kill us with Ballista. Stasis Snare the Ballista, play the Thopter, still die. So a lot of options, none of them actually winning us, and then still can't combo, especially with him having the Ballista. We need to play the Ballista with 2 counters, or with 3 counters actually, so that he can't just ping and kill the Ballista in response to the combo. So go with this option, still not enough, so just concede we'll get to game 2. Game 2 against the Mirror, Mono White Devotion. For the Mirror, we side in the Deca side. We side in the 2-drop enchantment. And then we side out the 3-drop Stasis Snare. And Gideons in the Mirror, they don't really help that much. When they combo off, they combo out and just kill the Gideon, so the emblem doesn't actually help. And 1 Knight on the play, Knight of the White Orchard's not as good on the play as it is on the draw, so siding one of them out whenever on the play is, or siding one or more of them out when on the play is never a bad thing. Okay. It has two of the cards recited in. Kind of slow though, but it might not be bad. So give it a try. Okay, they got their turn 1 Thopter, or Inspector. And we get our turn 2 Inspector. That's fair trade-off. Alright. Try to draw a card here because this is going to come and play tapped. I'd rather get a Plains. That doesn't come and play tapped, but I just get another Grunge. They go and sack their clue. Right, so there's a Heliod. I could play out one of these Gideons here. That would actually have been a better use of the mana. Can play my land, pump my Inspector. But I decided not to, so I went to the draw step and then deicide their Heliod on the draw step, get all the copies, take a note their hands, and then they get their White Orchard out, get their land, send more lands in them, get the Plains to make the Knight bigger. Good Owl, and another whiff. Owl's not been doing great. It's only finding more owls or nothing at all. Alright, their owl. Also whiffed, so feel less bad about the whiff. Their 3/3 has first strike. Not really worth it to block it here. Just take the 3 and hope on a land, so we can play one of these 2 cards and start killing the board with his Sky Sovereign. Another Walking Ballista, not quite another land, so can't play either of these. Hand's not looking great. Go and get in, and because I have 2 of them, just minusing it right away, making this a 3/4 to block their 3/3 and a 4/4 to block their 4/4. And then I go on the aggro plan here. I've been playing passively back a while this game, and I go for the aggro plan here. I think I had it backwards. I should have been attacking more aggressively in the beginning, and then here, been holding back more. But knowing that he has Ballista and that if I block here, I mean, I still trade off a counter on the Ballista, so it's still not a bad trade. Getting his intervention. And then, yeah, they have a baffling in for the Inspector. So now they just get to attack in. If I would have been on the defense, would have prevented a lot of that to happen that turn. So that 4 damage wasn't worth that 7 that I just took back. The Heliod sets me up to where I could possibly try to combo. Still not the land that I needed, but going to play out Gideon and make the Knight just to try to get more blockers, and maybe Gideon can soak up some damage. So they attack everything at me. Now here, I'm making my mathematical mistake of they have 8 lands. which means they can activate Ballista 2 times. They can only have 2/2 Ballista. So if I block there and I block there and there, then I take 3, 4. I go to 6. Their Ballista can only do 2 to me, so I can actually block here. I take 6 and go to 4. That's not the way Ballista works, though. If it's already out, 8 mana would only put 2 counters on it, but since it's still in his hands, 8 mana actually puts 4 counters on it, and I end up punting that game. Where I could have stalled a little bit, not to say I necessarily would have won. I would have chump blocked differently, so the inspector would have got, or the inspector would have got through instead. I would have lost my knight ally. I would have been at 2 more lives, so I would have been at 6 instead. He still would have got a big walking ballista. The walking ballista would finish off the owl. It still wouldn't have been a great spot, so definitely a punt. Maybe not a game-breaking punt, but they end up just shooting me down with ballista, and they get the game. So 1-3 in the league. Game number 4 of the league, going into this 1-3, not 1-2 as I was. Not a great starter here. But still learning deck. It's not terrible. Decided to try it out, see how this kind of starter works. It's got some early drops, and then, well, there's the Heliod, so there's the other half of the combo. Blue-white, possibly control, or spirits. So it's blue-white spirits, makes this walking ballista a lot worse now. Can't actually kill much that they do. Play it out anyway. It's better than the knight. Knight next turn, it can actually go get a land, and then we can play out the second ballista as well. So go and play the knight, and of course spirits always has spell queller, and they actually spell queller the knight here, slow us down some tempo, and consist with their tempo. They play out their eagle, looking pretty good for them. As they swing in for 6, and all you got is a little 1/1 walking ballista. Stasis snare. While they only have 1 mana open, go and just get this out now. They flash a sailor. So if I hit their eagle, that's 3 less damage that they're going to. Actually, that's 6 less damage that they're going to be attacking it, because the eagle itself plus the +1 from everything else. But if I hit the spell queller, I get my knight back, and it's 4 less damage. So I end up taking the queller so I can get my knight, so I can get that land drop, because I'm missing land drops. Again, I miss that I could have got the Grange here, and I could have actually put a counter on walking ballista. That 1 more counter could have set me up more for comboing next turn. But there's a spirit, another spirit lord. That's 12 in the air. Or no, that's 10. 11. That's 11. Puts me at 1. So I didn't draw the land anyway. If I would have drawn the lands, that would have been a bigger punt. Because I could have actually played the Heliod and then comboed if I had got the right land with knight. But I ended up not drawing the land anyway, so I just died of flyers in the air. Going on to game 2. So against blue-white spirits. Gideon the Trials, they just have a lot of flying evasion. Gideon Ally, anything that costs 4 mana, that's going to get spell quellered. Really just got to look at it. Is it worth it to play it on turn 4 to have their turn 3 counter it? And Gideon doesn't do much against spirits. So easy side out there. Siding in, the glares. They can hit some of their white creatures like their spell quellas, getting me back my spell quellas, and they can hit the eagle when the lords, and then also Council Flagship and the 2-drop enchantment as well, because spending 2 mana to get rid of the 3-drop spirit is much better than spending the 3 for Stony Silence. On the play. Okay, starter here, we got a turn 1. So you don't draw a turn 2, nothing else, we can just crack this clue and draw a card. So they actually are playing the Bant Spirits. We didn't actually see green last game. They didn't really need it. Alright, there's their turn 2 Lord. Go ahead and crack this clue. Drawing a 2/3 flyer. Play a land out for the turn. This is going to come and play tapped, which is unfortunate. But play out the Heliod. May have been worth it because this is going to play in tapped. Instead of playing the Nixos, just playing the 2 mana, playing the 2/3 blocker, playing this in tapped, and then just next turn being able to drop the Nixos rather than being hurt by this come play tapped. And this probably would have been better than the Heliod, but I kind of messed up on which land I played, so I went with playing the Heliod, just a better use of mana that I'd spent. Stasis there might have been okay to play 2 on their Supreme Phantom. Alright, so we do get the lands, which kind of saves that maybe holding onto this was correct. Hard to say though, but going to play this out for the double white devotion, allowing us to still have this up if they did have the spell queller, which they didn't actually have the spell queller here, surprising. They always have the spell queller. Maybe they do, and this just wasn't worth it for them to counter. It doesn't really affect them, it's just a 2/3. It is flying, so it can block their flyers, but it's only a 2/3. We're going to just pass a turn here, keeping that mana open for Heliod. Two Spectre Sailors. This actually holding up the fort right now against all their 2/3s, which is pretty good. So we end up drawing that 3rd land, so that possibly a punt on turn 3 of which land I played actually kind of pays off here. Don't really want to play the Ballista into Spell Queller still. Just want to save that mana, play the Stasis there, get that extra 2 mana from the Devotion, and get rid of one of their cards, and maybe bait out end of their turn this Spell Queller. So play this out, maybe we'll get Spell Queller. We don't get it, so we just hit one of the Lords. Now they just got little 1/1 Specters. Easy to ping off with Ballista, and then go and attack. Maybe try to bait out something here with the attack. Maybe bait out the company. So there's no company. I don't quite remember why I didn't just go for the combo there. I guess it's not even really needed. I mean, all they have is 2 little 1/1s, and I'm attacking, so I don't actually need to even combo this game. Just going with force. They draw a card with the sailor. They got their lord, the eagle. They're going to send in 1 sailor, just, I guess, hit our life total a little. Put us back down to 19. Now we have enough mana, and we haven't even played our land enough for the turn, so 6 mana, able to just play out this Walking Ballista. Because we paid 6 mana for it, X is 3, but its conversion cost is 6. And then I don't know if they don't know how that works. They're hoping maybe it's bugged or something, but they still play at the Spell Queller anyway. It resolves, they get Spell Queller in play. Ballista comes out, and yeah, before you can even give it lifelink and start the combo, they just concede. So we end up picking up game 2. Game 3 against Spirits. Kept the sideboard the same, no changes. On to game 3 on the draw. Pretty solid hand here. Turn 1, turn 2, half the combo. Decent removal, so it's a good starter. Go and play at the Inspector, get my clue. Spirit, yep, they have a pretty good start here as well, so you get turn 2, swing for 3. Go and just baffling in, get rid of this Lord, prevent quite a bit of damage that we'll be taking, and then allow us to swing in for 1 with this Inspector. Just 19 more attacks to go. Play with this Knights. Hoping to get that value. And it gets Spell Queller again. They do not like us getting our mana. Three damage here. Okay, clock a 3rd Walking Ballista. Go and play one of them out. Save the mana for the clue. I really want to try to draw something here. Some more mana to get these ballistas bigger or something. So I only play the ballista as a 1/1. Still big enough to kill their Wanderer. Hope they don't have a Flash Spear, and they don't. Which is good for us. They shock in the Temple Garden. Go and sack this to draw a card. And they attack in for 3. Us down to 10. Play this Inspector. Still trying to hope to draw some cards here. Really looking for something that's going to get us out. Tap that terribly wrong. Not allowing me to play this Daxos now. I should have been able to play Daxos that turn. I could have played the Walking Ballista that turn as well. They play Netherlord, so not looking good for us here. Swinging for 6, and they put us down to 4. Heliod. So play the Daxos first, because it's essentially free with Nykthos. It's going to add us as much mana as it spends us to play it. Go and play with this Nykthos, just really hoping they only have 1 card in hand, really hoping it's not Spell Queller, which it's always Spell Queller. play out the Heliod, and it doesn't get countered, so maybe they don't have the Spell Queller. Gonna put a 1+1 counter on Inspector. Doesn't really matter, can't block. They're still at 17. Now I get to play out the Ballista with 1 counter, gain the life, and at this point I think I win, except for I forgot I need 2 mana still to be able to give it lifelink. So I put the extra counter on it. Oh, that was opponent here being salty. So they have, I'm at 6. They have 8 points of flying in the air. I don't have enough mana to give this lifelink to go infinite, so I end up playing Walking Ballista here for 0, triggering Daxos twice, once for entering the battlefield and once for immediately dying, gaining me 2 life, putting me up now to 8, and putting 2 counters on my Walking Ballista. So now he has exactly lethal on the board, but I have a Walking Ballista with 5 counters, which is going to be able to kill off one of his lords and essentially 4 less damage. I should do it here now in case he does draw the rattle chains or something to, yeah, especially when I figure out his last card Seal Away, instantly should just kill off that Phantom now, not giving him the chance to draw that interaction piece. But I don't here, so I give him that opportunity to draw. They attack in and Ballista down their Phantom. They don't have it, so I just take 4 here, putting me down to 4, drawing a land and having enough mana to put a counter on Ballista, and now actually having the 2 mana to give it lifelink, I'm able to just combo here, and again my salty opponent saying no skill, because Magic's a no skill game. I guess, I don't know. But anyway, pick that game up, going to a game 3. Alright, so after finishing up that win against Spirits, now on to the final match of this league, 2-2. So this match deciding rather positive or negative for this league. We win the die roll, we get to go first, and this is actually our same opponent that was in round 2, playing Inverter of Truth. Not a great hand here, especially on the play. Still try it out though, it's not terrible. And they're still on Inverter of Truth. Turn 1, Thoughtseize gets rid of that owl. You can play out this knight. These knights aren't going to be getting me lands, they're just 2/2 first strikers. And then, so I consider jamming this out. He has 2 open mana. I don't know if they're still playing Censor or not. Just go ahead and get the knight out there and hold back on the Gideon. He's not in any immediate about to win to where I feel safe just holding back the Gideon. Still feeling pretty safe. Go ahead and play out this Heliod, tapping the Nixtos for 4, so I have enough mana to pump up this knight, or give this knight lifelink, and then now attack in with both knights. And then he actually has a Hero's Downfall, which does make me feel pretty good that I held back on this Gideon, because their deck doesn't play a lot of answers for Planeswalkers, and watching him play that one on a creature feels good. Now I get to play out my Gideon, turning on my Nykthos, making that emblem, and attacking in for 7. Going to spend my mana to give the knight and again push, making my Heliod no longer a creature, removing it from combat, making him take nothing. Dig through time. And then I guess didn't find anything good in his dig through time. He knows about this Nasus Snare, so 9 points of damage coming at him. I don't know, maybe that was his only main deck Hero's Downfall that he just exiled, so he can't beat the Gideon combo, but we end up picking up game 1. On to game 2 against the same Inverter of Truth player that we already played earlier. Sideboarding about the same, putting in the 2 Gideon's Intervention, taking out the Nasus Snares, and also putting in the Sky Sovereign against their Planeswalkers. We are on the draw, keeping this hand's not that great, kind of mana heavy, very susceptible to push, but Thoughtseize, but playing against a Thoughtseize deck, you also don't want to mulligan down too much, so it's a fine, okay, keepable 7. Yeah, exactly the reason why we didn't want to keep it. Every land we draw is pretty bad. You got their turn 1 opt. Nothing on turn 2. Swing the beats in for 1. Then we have the decision to just play a second Inspector, get a second clue. Kind of just want more threats, more cards, so just gonna hold back and sacrifice this clue to draw a card. Hopefully draw some actual threats. And instead more lands, and then another land. So yeah, reason why not to keep 4 land hands is every land you draw hurts. Play with this Inspector, just try to draw more cards. He has a lot of mana open to try to, resolve it getting through. Jace Welder mills himself 2, putting another Jace in the graveyard. Sacrifice that to draw another Inspector. So all these lands, this flagship will actually be able to cast here. Play out Inspectors. Could have played this Grunge out, putting a counter on one of these Inspectors, swinging in at Jace for 3 rather than 2. Not really that big of a difference between 3 and 2 though. Jace is still dying same in their turns. Downfall kills the Gideon. Jace plus up. And then now we go and get to flagship down this Jace down to 1. Just to make sure it dies, going to send 2 Inspectors towards the Jace and 1 at him. In case he does have a push or removal for one of these, Jace is still going to die. And he opts to maybe try to find it. He doesn't find it. Opts again. Ends up just taking the one and letting the Jace die. Thoughtseize away my Ballista. That definitely hurts. And then languishes away my inspectors and still drawing lands. Sacrifices Clue for yet another lands. Really need something here. Inverter, that's a 6/6, that's the clock. He's put a lot of cards back in the graveyard. Get to play out this. Try to put a counter on it so I can activate the crew ability. Sky Sovereign, but he pushes before I get the counter, so I cannot crew. And he swings in for 6. Thoughtseize sees my awesome hand of all lands as I draw another land. He swings in for another 6. I can take 2 more swings of this. This is actually not too bad of a draw. Potentially 2 draws. And it doesn't whiff, so I do get Daxos. So I get to play a Daxos, play my land. Now, knowing that he had a Languish shuffled back into his deck, along with several ops to find the Languish, and only 8 cards, ops a pretty good chance. Maybe I should have held back on the Daxos, but just because of his odds of re-finding the Languish, I know he's shuffled in. He does have it, but go ahead and crew this in response. Just prevent that swing for 2, because that swing for 2 would actually shorten my clock. Well, I guess not after I gain the life. I'm still in the same amount of turns. He doesn't swing, he doesn't make that trade. I draw more lands. He attacks him for 6. And then Anafenza's not big enough to create a Sky Sovereign, so I just die to the 6 in the air. Also, he's almost to the point where he can just Jace, because I know he has at least one. I think 2 of them got shuffled in. He's, not getting this game, so go on to game 3. Game 3 of match 5. 2-2 in the league. Obviously 1-1 in the match. On the play, and unfortunately, I've tried recording this video a few times, and every time I do, it stops. So I do have to cut this short. So this is going to be a very fast recap of this game in the time that lets me. So I end up keeping the 2-lander, turn 1 Spectre, they turn 1 Thoughtseize, hit my Anafenza, I turn 2 Daxos, they turn 2 Jace, I turn 3, just playing Inspector, on their turn 3, I sack my Clue, draw my card, my turn 4, I play an Owl, they kill my Daxos with Tyrant's Thorn, then they turn 4, they Jace, they Thoughtseize, flip their Jace, drawing Stasis Snare doesn't help against here, they get Dig Through Time, they Thoughtseize, put himself down lower, Spectres, Beating Face, put a counter on him, make a Gideon, they get them down to 7, presenting lethal, and they Dig Through Time, and they tap out to play it, so they just died at the lethal. So sorry that last game had to be rushed. Hopefully you did enjoy watching the first matches and the first 2 games. Did end up finishing this league 3-2, getting my revenge against this player. How do you say that? And going 3-2 with mono white devotion. So thank you for watching. Till next time.